Hey Harrison, good to see you again.
Same.
Just first off, how are you? How was your off season?
Doing well. You doing all right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, always. Well, how was your off season? What was it like seeing the Vikings kind of restock this defense here?
Yeah, it was. You're kind of sitting back as a fan, just like everybody else. There's no, secret updates for the players. So even just, I guess yesterday, a lot of news. So uh, love having all the new guys, and we're building some good chemistry. So whether it's in the secondary or up front, a lot of guys. We've got a good mix of young guys and vets, and I think it's got a lot of potential.
Joe?
Yeah, Harrison, what does a veteran presence like Patrick Peterson do for the entire secondary back there?
Yeah, we were pretty young at corner last year. A lot of good players, but just young. So having a guy, there's not a ton of guys like Pat out there, but having a guy like that come in at corner is big. Just not only his play, which is top notch, but just his presence and his knowledge he can pass on to the young guys. Obviously, safeties, corners, we're always working together. So having vets on the outside and deep and young guys, it's like I said, it's a good mix, and we can learn a lot from each other.
Chris?
Hi, Harrison. Good to see you.
Same.
Just specifically on the signing of Sheldon Richardson, what do you kind of remember from his game from 2018, and how much can he help you guys with potential interior pass rush now that he's coming back?
Yeah, Sheldon's a baller. That was apparent before he got to us the first time, but once he got here, the plays that he could make. He's a really athletic guy and has a good feel for the game. I was, obviously the news of Daniil coming back, and then I was like, oh, we got Sheldon too. Like it was pretty big time for us, and he's an absolute playmaker, and I'm happy he's back. He's also like he's a great guy in the locker room. Always got a smile on his face, and he's always ready to work.
Dave?
Hey, Harrison, I believe you're now the longest tenured player on the team with Kyle being gone. Does that ever dawn on you? Do you ever start at this point in your career to kind of reflect a little bit more on just how much you've seen, how far you've come?
Yeah, I kind of yes and no. Somebody was just telling me that the other day, and I kind of didn't realize it. Because people ask me how long I've been in the league, and I say this is my 10th. It kind of catches me off guard sometimes because you're just always in the flow and trying to make plays and get better, and it just flies by. So like sometimes I feel like I'm just a couple years in, and then other times I look around and I'm like, yeah, I am a lot older than most of these guys. So it's kind of back and forth.
Ben?
Harrison, when you have all these new faces around you and a new safety next to you, possibly a number of new corners in front of you, how does that change things for you as a player when you're just trying to kind of find chemistry with new guys in the secondary like you are?
Yeah, it's whether even if it's not a young guy or it is whatever, with younger guys you kind of have to be conscious that they haven't seen as many things as maybe I've seen. So if you see something, you can give a heads up, or you can say if there's motion here or whatever, like we're going to switch to this and stuff like that. And then even young or old or whatever, you got to know how each guy kind of operates. Like corner, it's pretty easy to get locked in, and it's hard to hear things going on because you're so focused on the guy in front of you. So you definitely got to know who you're working with and how they communicate and how you can get guys' attention. And working with Xavier as well, he's a really smart guy, so that makes it, I don't want to say easier, but it can make things smoother when you got two guys back there that can stay ahead of plays, and you got guys outside that are easy to communicate with. It just kind of lets that whole pre-snap operation run a little smoother.
Matthew?
Hey, Harrison. When we've talked to Mike Zimmer, he has seemed kind of pleased that he's back with the coaching staff and talked about how, in the same room, that is, and he talked about how they've been doing a lot of different studying of things and trying to put in new things. I guess how has that gone in this process through OTAs and early in minicamp of not only getting used to the new players around you, but things that Mike is adding with the secondary?
Yeah, this is that time of year where the coaches have had all off season to see, what was good last year and what we need to work on. So that's kind of the flow of the season. Is there's always going to be new things this time of year. There might be a little more now because every year offenses are evolving and rules are evolving. So you can't just sit back and say we're going to run the same stuff every year. You got to have wrinkles and things you throw in. So it's normally fun because you got new things that are challenging you and different looks and stuff like that. So it's I always enjoy this time of year.
Courtney?
Hey, Harrison. So much of the efforts and finances have been focused on the defensive side of the ball, free agency, but particularly what's happened up front. How do you think that the amount of effort that's been put into addressing the pass rush is going to help what you guys are doing on the back end?
Oh yeah, any fan that ever asked me about playing defense or whatever, I'm like, secondary is always just about as good as the pass rush. You can have great players back there that are going to make plays time to time just on their own, but throughout the length of the year, you gotta have both to work together because you're not going to always cover perfectly, and you're not going to always rush the passer perfectly. So if you can complement one another well, it normally works out in your favor. And obviously we got a lot of guys up there now, which you just kind of need in this league. It's an even longer season now, and so those reps add up, and having more and more guys that can come in and get after the passer and cover on the outsides, it's definitely a good recipe.
Chip?
Hey, my question got answered or asked earlier, so I'm good.
Andrew?
Hey, Harrison, we heard Kirk last week talk about the team holding seminars for vaccines and stuff. What's the messaging from the team been like as far as the vaccines, and what do you make of it?
They're just giving us information. If guys are hesitant or guys want to take it, that's it. They're just giving us information to make our own decision with.
Have you been vaccinated, or where do you fall on that?
I have not been vaccinated.
Well, how do you go about making kind of an informed decision on that?
Just like everybody else, make your own decision.
Eric?
Hey, Harrison, you mentioned earlier the potential that this defense has, and you've obviously been a part of some great defenses, in the past year. When you have guys who such as, Matt coming back or Sheldon, and then new guys, Dalvin and Pierce, I guess how important is camp for everyone to kind of get on the same page, and so that you're rolling early, and so that you don't take maybe 3 or 4 games to get going and you guys can get, rolling right away?
Yeah, these reps are, we're not in pads and we're not going, crazy tackling each other and stuff, but just getting on the field and working through adjustments, even if it's just at a walkthrough pace, is good just to communicate with each other, know how guys operate. Those guys up front are often interacting with the linebackers a little more than safeties, but you just want a kind of a well-oiled machine, and there's going to be injuries that happen time to time, guys rolling in, and if you can get some reps with different guys in different spots, right now it's it doesn't seem like a lot, but it can add up over time.
We'll go Chris and Courtney with the last two.
Yeah, hi, Harrison. You touched upon Danielle Hunter being back in the fold earlier. Just what was it like, kind of maybe previously not knowing what Danielle's situation is or when you might see him, and then how good is it that he's now back in the fold?
Yeah, everybody's got their own, their own side of the business side going on. So as a player, definitely respect that, but also very happy to have Daniil back. He's a tough guy to replace. He's he's a game wrecker for us, and just it's good to see him. It's good to have him around. Just his presence. You want a guy like that in your locker room.
Hey, Harrison, with you coming up on the final year of your contract, is there anything in the works, or are you anticipating something's going to get done as far as an extension before we hit training camp?
I don't have like a solid answer for you, but obviously, I've been here going on 10 and would love to be here in the future. So going to look at those things and see what we can do. Yeah, that's about it right now.